Hi? You know what high school students, office workers, and truck drivers have in common? They're all on caffeine. No joke. About 65% of Americans drink coffee every day, and this whole industry is over $100 billion a year. Such is our ritual of the nation. A morning without coffee? For many, it's like forgetting to put on pants. We reach for a mug before we're even awake. But here's the question. What does coffee actually do to your brain? Why is it invigorating? Why is a day a nightmare without it? And is it true that it can ruin your sleep or even temporarily shrink your brain? Let's break it down for you. Let's talk simply and honestly. No scientific nerdiness. Just the facts, like a good friend. Let's go. The magic of caffeine, how it wakes you up. Okay, imagine your brain is a big parking lot. It's parked all day long with sleepy molecules. Scientists call them adenosine. The more of these guys there are, the more you want to yawn, clam up, and collapse into the arms of your pillow. And caffeine, it's tricky. It's like he forged a pass and got into the parking lot before adenosine. He's like, hey, that's my spot. And caffeine's like, it's late, buddy. I'm sitting here. The brain starts to panic. Shit. Where's the sleep? Why aren't we tired? It goes into alert mode. Adrenaline, pep, rushes into the bloodstream. Dopamine kicks in. That's why 10 or 15 minutes after a cup of coffee, it's like you come alive. Johns Hopkins research has shown that caffeine actually activates the areas of the brain responsible for focus and problem solving. In other words, it literally lights up your intelligence. It's beautiful, isn't it? But wait, this magic has a catch. And that's in the next section, the trap. Why not drinking coffee makes you feel like you've been hit by a bus? Here you are, drinking coffee every day. You're living it up, getting high, everything's peppy. But all of a sudden, you decide to skip a cup. What happens? Your head is buzzing. You're in a don't touch me, I'm a monster mood. Your energy's at zero. You're literally in zombie mode. Why is that? It's because the brain is not stupid. It's like, aha, you keep blocking out my sleepy fairies? Okay, I'll just create more parking lots. And he does. Now you need more caffeine to stay awake than before. You're trapped. Coffee, alertness, addiction, coffee again. It's no longer a morning buddy, but a boss you can't function without. And that's where withdrawal comes in. Headache, irritability, the urge to sleep on the fly. It's no joke. According to the National Coffee Association, 40% of coffee drinkers actually suffer from withdrawal, sometimes for up to 9 days. Unadorned. And you're like, why don't we just fuck that freedom? Give me a cappuccino. Don't worry. I'll tell you how to get out of this trap without hysterics and valerian. But first, let's figure out how coffee is messing with your sleep, even if you don't think it is. Coffee versus sleep. Your latte is stealing your rest. You go to bed seemingly normal, no stress, not on an empty stomach. But in the morning, you're as broken as an iPhone without a case. I was asleep, or you think. Now imagine, you just fell asleep on caffeine. A study from 2023 found if you drink coffee 6 hours before bedtime, your brain loses up to 30% of deep sleep, the same sleep that revitalizes your body and brain. You seem to be sleeping, but your brain is working in standby mode. Instead of relaxed theta waves, it's a beta wave storm, like you're flipping through TikTok with your eyes open. The result? You wake up not rested, but as if you didn't go to bed at all. And what do we do in response? That's right, we pour coffee and go full circle. Golden rule, no coffee after 2 p.m. Your 8 p.m. latte may be sweet, but it's a masked thief stealing your sleep. Shock. Is coffee shrinking your brain? But not forever. Okay, hold on. Scientists from Switzerland in 2021 conducted MRI scans of brains in people who drink coffee every day. And what did they see? The areas responsible for memory and attention were smaller. Panic? Don't be in a hurry. One of the researchers, Dr. Reichert, explained it coolly. Caffeine doesn't kill brain cells. It just temporarily shrinks them, like a dry sponge. Give it water, and it's full of life again. What is water in this case? Just 10 days without coffee. And ta-da! the brain returns to its previous volumes as if nothing had happened, which means, yes, coffee affects the brain physically, but the brain is incredibly adaptive. It doesn't break down, it just reboots. So, if you want to reboot your head, take a mini coffee vacation. Not a punishment, but an upgrade. Coffee's superpowers. Does it really heal? Okay, enough scaremongering. It's time to say the good stuff. Because coffee isn't just about being invigorating and addictive. It can also do good if you treat it in a kind way. Memory and the brain. A Harvard study found that 1 to 2 cups a day reduces the risk of Alzheimer's by 20%. And it's not the caffeine, it's the antioxidants, such as phenolindane. These are especially abundant in dark roasts. Your liver will thank you. Coffee reduces the risk of cirrhosis and other liver problems, especially in those who aren't exactly heavy. Yes, even if you drink something stronger on the weekend. Moderation is a superpower. But an important point, all these benefits work if you don't overdo it. The ideal dose is 3 to 4 cups a day max. Any more and you're no longer in therapy but on a roller coaster. So coffee's not a superhero, but rather a good side character. It helps if you're the director, not the viewer. How to break up with coffee and not freak out. Okay, you've decided it's time to pause, but just picking up and quitting is a bad idea. Your body is like this. What kind of betrayal? Where's the dopamine? Where's the ritual? Here's how to gently and smartly get out of your coffee addiction without suffering in the morning. Step 1. Slow break, not the switch. No need to be a hero. Just reduce the amount by 1 cup every 2 to 3 days. It was 3, it became 2. Then 1. Then half a cup. In parallel, replace it with decaffeinated coffee, matcha, golden milk, warm water with lemon. Yes, it sounds Spartan, but it works. Step 2. Deal with the coffee withdrawal. When you cut back on your dose, there are possible symptoms. Headache, irritability. Feeling like the whole planet is pulling you backwards. What helps? Peppermint tea, or a couple drops of peppermint essential oil on whiskey. A walk, especially in the morning. Protein, eggs, nuts, cheese, they stabilize energy. And be sure to drink water. Coffee dehydrates you, your brain suffers. Step 3. Take a coffee vacation. Even if you don't want to give it up for good, give yourself a reboot once every 3 months. 10 days without coffee, and you'll re-feel how it works. And you don't drink just because you're on a schedule. The main thing is, don't make a drama out of it. It's not giving up on life. It's taking back control. Coffee. Zen. How to make coffee. A healthy habit. You don't have to give up coffee forever. The key is not to turn it into a crutch. Here are the golden rules to make coffee work for you, not instead of you. 1. Watch the dose. 400 milligrams of caffeine a day is the maximum. That's 2 large Starbucks cups, grande type, or 3 to 4 small filter coffees. But 1 venti, the biggest one. Almost the entire daily allowance already. 2. Time is everything. Don't drink after 2 p.m. Caffeine sits in your system for up to 8 hours. So your sweet latte at 6 p.m., insomnia, even if you fell asleep. 3. Never on an empty stomach. Coffee itself is acidic and irritates mucous membranes. Triggers acid, stress on the GI tract, anxiety. Best, coffee, plus oatmeal, banana, or yogurt. 4. Add milk or vegetable milk. It soothes the acid, protects bones, especially women's bodies, and just makes the flavor softer. 5. Follow every cup with a glass of water. Coffee, diuretic. You lose water, you lose mental clarity. Drink water immediately after coffee, and your brain will say thank you. 6. Light medium roast is your choice. Darker better. Light roasts contain more antioxidants and less acrylamide, a possible carcinogen. And most importantly, listen to your body. If you feel anxious, shaky, tachycardic, that's a signal, not, well, I just didn't get enough sleep. How many cups of coffee are normal for you now?